Module 1, Lesson 5. What can you expect when you go vegan? So in this lesson, we're going to cover exactly that. What to expect when you go vegan. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of good to expect when you go vegan. But there are obstacles and barriers, as we know. So let's dive into it. All right. So the first thing, we started off not on a happy note. We're going to start off with the thumbs down type of things in regards to withdrawal. So naturally in the Western American diet, there's tons of sugar and starch and carbs and caffeine, right? So when you switch to a vegan diet, probably you're going to eat healthier, right? It's not going to be 10 out of 10 healthy necessarily, but you're going to eat healthy. And so naturally, eating more whole food plant-based options, it's going to have less processed sugar and it's going to have less simple carbohydrates. So your body's going to go through an adjustment period because it's not getting its fix. And that's completely okay. And it's normal. So if you are feeling like you do need some sugar and things like that, it's because your body's been having that for however long. And now you're changing. So that's completely okay. Symptoms can range from mild irritability, fatigue, headaches, and mood swings. Now, obviously, if you're detoxing, right? If you're eating less calories, if I don't know how you're transitioning, but yeah, your body's going through a change, right? When your body goes through a change, your mind is going through a change as well. So yeah, you might not have time for people. Yeah, you're going through a lot when you're going vegan. And so yeah, there's some mild irritability, fatigue and headaches, mood swings, that will depend on your diet. But those are some things that I would like for you to be aware of, especially if you ate a very processed diet of food high in simple carbohydrates, maybe like microwavable things in packages and wrappers, things easy to heat up. If you go vegan, there's not a ton of those options, maybe. And so maybe if you're switching your diet, you could expect to see some of that. And then if you go cold turkey, you may experience more symptoms than if you ease into it. This is true for me. Now, I know you didn't ask, but when I first decided to try going vegan, I said I'm going to go for a month without any dairy and meat, and I did. I went for 4 weeks with no dairy and no meat, and then I went on a trip where I did not prepare my food, and as a result, I ended up kind of at the mercy of what we had available, and I went from a very clean diet for an entire month with no dairy to frozen Hot Pockets, breakfast sandwiches, frozen pizzas, and Pizza Hut. Right? It went from non-dairy to so much dairy and so much processed. And yeah, oh yeah, my stomach felt it. Let's say that. All right, next are cravings. Cravings, obviously, as you can see, these are the body sending signals that it needs something, right? So essentially, it's like the gas light coming on, like ding. You just got to pay attention to it. What are you craving? Anything you're craving, you can find the nutritional component for that, and you don't need to find it from an animal product. So cravings are normal. If you can find if you find that you're craving meat, then you're likely dealing with some type of deficiency. Now, a craving is different from like, oh, I just have a taste for it, right? And a lot of times cravings come when you're hungry. A lot of times when you go vegan, you might not be getting all the nutrients that you may need just because it's a less calorically dense diet. And for that reason, yeah, if you're like, oh shit, I'm craving meat, that probably means that you're hungry and you need to fill your belly with something. Sometimes it can be a texture thing. And as a result, maybe you need to change up some of the proteins that you're eating so that you can also give your tongue some satiation. You can be deficient in protein, iron, or vitamin B12. These right here are common things that vegans can be deficient in just because these are almost like given in an animal rich diet. There's so much protein, iron, and vitamin B12, which can only be synthesized really through animal animal proteins. So you do have to supplement in some ways when you go vegan, but supplements doesn't mean necessarily pills. Supplements can just mean an intake or an increase in certain nutrients, and you can get those through plants. If you're super deficient, you make sure you want to see your doctor so they can get you on something that's gonna balance you out, and then you can take your nutrition from there. Um, to minimize cravings, your cravings start by eating the same types of foods that you're used to. Make changes as small as possible. So if you love cheese and you gotta have it, you need to go on a vegan cheese journey. Find the vegan cheese that you enjoy. Now, it's not going to be 10 out of 10 what dairy cheese was. There's a certain creaminess to dairy. We can't really mimic that, you know? But there's other things that are also very delicious that I think that if you increase those and you find your groove, then you'll be able to wean yourself off of dairy, or in this example, of course. All right, and yeah, cheeses. There's so many different cheeses. The first vegan cheese I ever had, it wasn't that great. I don't even know if it melted. You know, it was, yeah. And for a long time, I didn't try it after that. But I had cravings for cheese, and I ended up actually eating pizza, right? But if I would have just spent, a little bit of time and a little bit of time, a little bit of money, you got to shop around and find what you want, especially in a brand new um, uh, you're in a brand new lifestyle, so you do have to kind of you're going to buy things that don't taste great, right? But you do have to keep exploring. And if I had done that more, then I could have found some delicious vegan cheese, which I now know of, and I will share with you later in module 4 and module 5. But yeah, like anything you're looking for, you can find a non-dairy or like a vegan option, and you got to shop around, but you can find stuff that's pretty tasty. Energy. Okay, here's something positive you can look forward to. Energy. More people find that they not only have more energy during the day, but they also feel happier. Now, I don't want to get into food resonance, but different foods have different, they resonate at different wavelengths, And so when you're eating dead flesh, when you're eating animal products, it resonates differently than when you're eating fresh, healthy products and fresh and healthy, nutrient rich and calorically like balanced foods, right? You're putting in healthier options. So obviously you're gonna have more energy. It just like makes sense. And it's a beautiful thing. I did not have an energy problem prior to going vegan, but I went vegan in my 20s. I've really dialed in my vegan diet now in my 30s, and I have way more energy, right? So it wasn't that I didn't have any energy then, it's just that I have more in my 30s because I really dialed in my nutrition. And so I think you all will find that as well. Obviously, everyone doesn't go vegan for their health. Going vegan is mainly for animals and animal rights. Um, but a high percentage of people do it for their health. And I feel that you will have more energy. And so, yeah, that's number 3.